Welcome to Best Effing Update. I'm your host, Holland March. Let's dive right into last week's results. Chief Honey Bears get back on track this week with a victory over No Prior Knowledge, 105-81. When players were asked what owner Catherine Glass did to get the team back in the win column, this is what they had to say.
Never thought I would try yoga, but here I am trying it and liking it.
Namaste. Tuck your butt under. Inhale, reach back. And back up.
I've been doing yoga since I've been here, really.
Sure, you're pretty flexible.
Thank you, Lauren.
Namaste. Sir Juke grabs It's a Hard Gronk Life by the wrist and spanks him in public, as he accomplishes the largest point spread in league history with a win of 121-36. This is Sir Juke's first win of the season, and for that he will receive a one-of-a-kind Potato Man trophy. Well done, Sir Juke. Automatic Dads falls once again this week to Jamal About That Bass, 139-106. Jamal About That Bass remains undefeated, while Automatic Dads owner Brandon Owens remains defeated. Rick Moranis slips by world's biggest Kirk Cousins fan, 111-107. Greg Olson and Larry Fitzgerald have found their shrunken leader and zapped him back to size this week, as owner David Troyer seems to be finding his stride. Death by Kyle holds off KC Renegades 91-90. Antonio Brown beginning to prove why he was the number one overall pick in the draft. Poochies wins by a record-setting smallest margin, 76.8 to 76.54, over Werewolves on Wheels. 3 more yards for owner Cornelius Perry would have given him the victory. This truly is a game of inches, or to be more specific in this case, 36. I Can Change This Later right gives the Cotter Otters the wedgie of a lifetime, with a complete waistband detachment and final score of 137-58. Owner Scott Glass is currently listed as questionable on this week's injury report. For more on this matchup, let's get owner Jay Newman on the line. Jay, you're on Best Effing Update with Holland March. How are you today?
Doing good. Getting a little home workout in right now. Taking a break.
Sounds like a plan for a winner. In Week 2, you suffered the loss of your first-round draft pick, Adrian Peterson, who is now out for the season. Since then, you have gone 3-0. How are you pulling this off?
I would say something about how my team's all rallied around one another and everything, but the truth is none of the players know who the hell I am. So, really, in actuality, I guess it probably has to do with my draft strategy was executed exactly like I mapped it out.
Interesting. Can you go into your draft strategy a little more in detail?
Yeah, I had a list of guys at every position that I wanted to target, and then I put to the right of them, I put what round would be an ideal place to pick them. And so then I kind of put together some different possibilities of how that could play out. And my first choice worked out. So I had my ideal draft scenario. Every player I got, I picked in the round that I wanted.
That really seems quite fortunate. Well, good job there. Moving right along, you have been openly critical about Commissioner Jonathan Dimmel's league scoring settings. Can you explain your position here?
All right, because it's fucking bullshit, man. Everyone in the world knows that a touchdown is 6 points. Touchdown, 6 points. This is like an immutable law of football.
Okay, so go back and explain really quick. What is it that's happening in the scoring?
Oh,
that's
no,
off?
I was getting there.
Okay,
I was getting
okay.
there. I was setting it up with a little bit of outrage. Just wanted to know how outrageous it was, because whoever's listening to this, I think is going to agree that touchdowns are worth 6 points. And to change that is just really messed up. Right? Well, a quarterback who throws a touchdown in our league only gets 4 points. Makes no sense. Why? Well, because quarterbacks throw more touchdowns. Well, duh. That's how football works. It's still 6 points for a touchdown. So now your running back can have 3 touchdowns in a day, and your quarterback could throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and your running back can score more points. That doesn't make any sense. A quarterback should always be more valuable than a running back. Why? Because that's how football works. Jonathan Dimmel doesn't think so.
Interesting. Very interesting point of view. Some would say that the way the scoring is set up currently makes the league a little bit more fair to those who didn't get a high draft pick.
I don't see how that's the case. I mean, you got to have a good quarterback to win, period. You've got to have a good quarterback to win. How many quarterbacks went in the first round? All the quarterbacks were available later and later rounds because nobody's picking quarterbacks that high. So I don't see that anybody, you could have the last pick and you're still going to get one of the top 5 quarterbacks. So why punish quarterbacks when no one's picking them high in the first round anyway?
This is true. However, when we did some digging, we did find that the top scorers in the Best Effing League are all still quarterbacks. What would you have to say to this?
They should be still quarterbacks. You have to have a good quarterback to win. Everyone knows in the NFL, everyone's trying to get, you can't win without a top 10 quarterback. Really, you can't, no one's going to win the Super Bowl without a top 5 quarterback with very rare exceptions like the Ravens in 2000 or something like that. But you have to have quarterbacks to win. So I don't see, of course the quarterbacks are still going to be at the top, but they're supposed to be way at the top. You shouldn't be able to level the playing field like that because someone screwed around and has, Alex Smith as their starting quarterback.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, that's just a little dig.
So what you would be saying here is that if you were to, say, be in the league championship, and let's say you felt that you ended up losing the league championship due to this scoring situation, what would you have to say to owner Jonathan Dimmel?
If it got to that, well, here's the thing. There's nothing you can do at that point. I mean, the rules are the rules, and you can't change the rules mid-season. That's just not fair. So I'm just talking about more in principle. So if you're telling me that's how the scenario plays out this year, well, that's fine. That's how the league. I was going to say I knew the rules. I didn't know the rules till after the draft, but my draft went fine, so I can't be that upset. I got the players I want. That's the rules this year. I just think in principle, in any future years, you got to change that.
Well said. Well, as the saying goes, a passionate owner makes for a passionate team. And this surely rings true today.
I'm sure Derek Carr is very passionate because of my passion.
True. Very true. Well, so you're an artist manager here in Nashville, Tennessee. Can you tell us a little bit about your job and the artists that you manage?
Yeah. I manage a guy named Sean Michelle. And manager is kind of what I do on one side of things, but really we're kind of just like, in another sense, we're kind of like co-missionaries. We've been working together for 15 years. We both studied theology and missions in college. And over the years, we just figured out how to merge the two. We accept a lot of tours and things that others wouldn't because they just don't pay very well. But our strategy is not about, being for profit necessarily. So, yeah. So it's a little different in that sense.
It sounds like a wonderful organization. Well, it looks like we have an audio clip here of Sean. Would you intro this song that we're about to hear, and then we'll take a listen?
Yeah, the song is called Cry Holy. It's kind of, why not? It's a worship song.
Okay, well, let's take a listen. Well, sounds great. Really appreciate your time this week. That's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us, and best of luck.
You're the best, Alan.
Okay, let's look at our top players of the week. Werewolves on Wheels Tom Brady is our top quarterback this week with 420 total yards and 3 touchdowns. Someone is happy to be back on the field. Sir Jukes David Johnson, our top running back, with 185 total yards and 2 touchdowns. I Can Change This Later writes Sammy Coates, our top receiver, with 162 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Jamal About That Bass is Martellus Bennett, our top tight end, with 67 yards and 3 touchdowns. Poochie's is Buffalo Bills defense number 1 this week with 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, and a touchdown. Free agent Vic Beasley is our top defensive player with 7.5 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. I Can Change This Later writes Adam Vinatieri, our top kicker, with 5 field goals and 2 extra points. Our top owner for the second consecutive week is Jimmy Burke, owner of Jamal About That Bass, scoring 139.5 points. If you enjoy long gazes at computer screens while being unable to close your mouth, take a peek at his roster sometime. Okay, let's take a glance at our currently incorrect league standings.
I'm not in the scene, I think I'm falling asleep, but then all that it means is I'll always be dreaming of you. Feel sure this time, smile fades in the summer rains, your hand.
And that's it for Best Effing Update. Join us next week.